We just, unlike last time, we were a bit more prepared this week for people who log in early. So we had our tech all sorted. There's a little bit of faffing with sending the link out, but that's because, again, subscribe so we can get 1,000 subscribers. Then we don't have to do this faffy tech stuff. Anywho, we thought Mark would give us a little song to kick us off.
Question, who can guess what song that was?
I actually don't know.
Really? Oh my God.
I actually don't know. Oh, Sim is there. Hi, Sim.
Put it in the comment section. I bet Sim will know. Sim, you're going to know what this is.
What song was that? Then guess the song. Go. What was it?
I bet Sim actually knows. I'll do it one more time. So listen carefully. Don't let the jazz style fool you, or the gypsy jazz style fool you. You know what I'm thinking of?
I don't know that song.
I'm thinking of Balloon.
Christian song. Here's me reeling through all my Christian songs. And I'm like,
it is a Christian song.
What is it? What is it?
Said if you're happy and you know it, say amen.
That is just cheating.
Honestly. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. If you're happy and you know that I really want to show you. There you go. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. No, if you're happy and you know it, say amen. See, simple. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. If you're happy and you know it, then I do really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. Yeah.
Well, guys, whether you're happy or you're not happy. Oh, he was right. He was happy that he was right.
Well, there we go. I knew you were going to figure it out. I was actually going to say, if you're tired and you know it, welcome home. If you're tired and you know it, welcome home. Because everybody here is tired. If you're tired and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're tired and you know it, you can yawn. I should have actually written jingles or some kind of advert. You know, what's those jobs? Where they write the jingles and stuff.
Yeah,
that.
Jingle writer.
A jingle writer. Thanks, Tim. Yes, you were right.
You were right.
Well done.
Well, okay, guys, welcome to another episode of MarcoBella Live podcast.
You forget who we were.
I was like, what?
This is what happens when you're tired. You start to forget what you're doing, the purpose of life, the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life?
Today, we're going to be talking about physical, mental, and spiritual health, guys. And we're going to be sharing some of our recent experiences in those categories.
Oh my God.
So this is how bad it's got, right? On Sunday, right, at church. So my daughter wasn't feeling well. So I asked my dad to pray for her. So imagine I leave church going, Dad, can you come and pray for Rhea, right? I walk out, and the time it takes me to walk from the door to the bathroom, I forgot that I asked him to come pray for Rhea. Oh, wow. So I'm in the bathroom. Is this thing on? Because I can't see the light.
That's okay.
And I'm in the bathroom, and this girl walks up to me, and she's like, a message for from Bethel's father, I'm here. And I looked at her like, what? She's like, a message for Bethel's father, I'm here. And I was like,
that actually reminds me.
I was like, who's Bethel?
Oh yeah, that's bad. That is pretty bad.
I literally was like, who's Bethel?
That's right. It sounds like a scene from like The Star or something. A message from Bethel's father, and he's like, oh.
No, I was like, I think it maybe because the way she said it as well. I was like, is there another Bethel? Did somebody's father drop her off and now he's coming to pick her up? I was like, what? And it was only after I walked out of the bathroom and I saw my dad. I was like, oh yeah, I'm Bethel. It's my dad.
I mean, to be fair, that is a pretty complicated way of, you know,
asking it.
Communicating.
It was like she talked to me in like third person, like a message for Bethel's father, like give this message to Bethel, whoever she is.
Well, again, just a reflection of where Bethel's mindset was.
Honestly. Oh, Sophie's laughing. So you know that would have been you, right? for real, like, oh my gosh, it hit me. I was like, oh yeah, Dad, sorry, I don't even have Rhea with me. I didn't even know which she was. But yeah, Dad. Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to preserve my energy. I don't think I've got enough energy to laugh that much, honestly.
Oh my gosh. Anywho, guys, we've already prayed. Last week we did pray before the session. We were so nervous last week. There were so many technical things going on. It was the first time, but this week we're a bit more chilled. So,
yeah,
shall we kick it off with the physical health?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Well, we were having a discussion about just how much we wanted to share tonight, because there's been a lot of things that's been going on. I would say probably since Rhea's been born. For me, with the postnatal stuff. And for you as well in your own physical well-being. So there's three parts. There's the physical part, so that's in our bodies, and then there's the mental part, which is in our minds, and the spiritual part, which is to do with our faith and our beliefs. So let's start with the physical part and how that has impacted on us.
Do I get to go first?
I would love you to go first.
Oh, okay. So we're having this debate.
Just give a little background of Mark. Mark never goes to the doctor. Never gets sick.
Never goes to...
Like, he never gets sick, never goes to the doctor. Never got anything wrong with him. Just a little bit of context.
So, as life progresses,
yes,
as life progresses, what you actually learn is that, one, you're not the same person that you were. So give a bit of context before, heavily into physical exercise. Used to like play basketball for like 3 hours a day, at least 3 hours a day, running, cycling every now and then. So for the most part, physically healthy and physically fit. But, this is 10 years on into our marriage. And
10.
As Beth was 12 years on.
13.
No, I was
going on 13.
30. Wow, 13 years. Goodness me.
It's going to be 13 years.
So as Beth was saying, I don't know whether she noticed a change in me or whether that was just inclination. I have no idea. Or maybe it was something that I said that kind of gave you the hint that actually maybe something's not quite right. I don't know.
I think there's been so many things going on for you with the job situation, which we will talk about next week. You want to tune in for that, guys. That is going to be, there might be some tears. We went through like a really, really hard financial trial in 2022. Where in 2023, we're like, Jesus, give us a break. So we're going to be talking about that next week. So tune in. But I think Mark's always got, I would say, the brave face on. But you can tell in the demeanor, you've always got the brave, happy face, like everything's great, it's all wonderful, and you always...
Do you know, you make it sound like I put on this persona. But actually, so Beth is saying a good point in terms of how, my faith comes across. Now, I'm the sort of person where, and also my, I suppose, personality, where naturally optimistic, Pollyanna type person,
What does that mean?
Always looking for the positive in everything.
Okay.
And so, even when it comes to health, if, say, for example, I've got a headache, this is how I do it. It might sound a bit bizarre to some people. If I wake up and I feel a headache coming, for the most part, I just ignore it, or I will speak to it and say, I rebuke you, I resist you in Jesus' name, because we're Christians and that's what we do. And I kid you not, in like 30 seconds or so, it's gone. And if it does persist, I'll just drink lots of water, and then after a while, it's gone. Never really had to take any medication for that.
He's not really a medication
not
guy.
Because
Especially after the Turkey incident. If you haven't watched the video, you might want to figure it out. Like, go and watch that video.
Yeah. And I think since then, you're talking about physical challenges. I've had to live with this. Ever since that Turkey incident, I've had to live with this. What can
fear
I do?
of medication.
No, not even fear of medication. Thanks to Bethel, she actually gave me this allergy.
I didn't give you an allergy.
Claim, by the way, which I don't
oh
claim,
my
anyway.
gosh, I cannot give you an allergy. How can I give you an allergy? I helped you discover your allergy.
No. But you know what they do to guinea pigs in the research that they undertake? And so what she did is she overdosed me with some
paracetamol.
Untested.
It was paracetamol.
Well, the quantity was untested.
And I didn't know that you were allergic to paracetamol.
But anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
So on the tin when we got married, guys.
Anyway, that's a sigh of just, I give up. But the point I wanted to put across here is that I then learned that I had this thing which I wasn't aware of. I probably had seen some signs and thought, actually, this might be something, but I'd never really focused on it too much and didn't want to dwell on it.
You didn't even know about it.
Actually, to be fair, I didn't really know. So one day, Beth just decided, actually,
Imagine
why
being
don't you
very, very sick and not knowing about it. How does that happen? There's something called the silent killer, and that's blood pressure.
So I guess maybe from growing up and not really being too much into going to the hospital, medication and that sort of stuff. I always believe in natural treatment. For example, if you got a headache, just drink some water. You don't really, personally, I don't really need to take a paracetamol unless I'm like really desperate.
Well, you will die.
Or I'll just go up.
You're allergic to it. You can't even take
thanks, Bethel.
Yeah.
Which I'm not, by the way.
You are.
I don't.
Every time Mark takes paracetamol, his nose starts bleeding. Even the baby, like what you give babies.
And this is ever since Turkey.
Babe, did you take paracetamol before that?
I think I did. I don't know.
I don't think
Actually,
you
to
did.
be fair, I don't think I've ever
Exactly. Exactly. You probably.
But I am really trying to labour this point of prior to that, I'd never really been one to go to the hospital, taking medication, just for natural reasons, not for any kind of church point of view or spiritual point of view. It was just purely, I feel my body can do what it needs to do naturally. Yeah. And so come this time that, Bethel just says, why don't you get the blood pressure reading machine? What happened?
It didn't even work like that. So I've been going to a chiropractor, right?
And
Mark is always like, you guys are going to these chiropractors and living your best life, getting all your treatments and stuff. So it was it a birthday or I bought you a present or something for some anniversary?
Yeah, it was a surprise.
Anniversary.
Yeah.
So for our anniversary, I said, oh, okay, let me surprise him. I will pay for a chiropractor treatment. So I wasn't even thinking about blood pressure. So he went to the chiropractor, came back home, and then he passed a little comment. He was like, oh, yeah, it was really good. My blood pressure was a little bit high. I was like, oh, okay. And then he just left it like that. He didn't even say nothing. So I thought, maybe it was like, maybe it was like 5.
But granted, at the time, I didn't quite understand what the numbers meant. Obviously, it was only because the chiropractor said it was really high. I was like, oh, okay. But
what else did the chiropractor tell you to do?
Yeah, I mean, you were telling the story.
What else did the chiropractor tell you to do?
So the chiropractor wisely advised me and pretty much said to me, look, you need to call the doctor ASAP.
Right now.
Did he say right now?
He was like, you need to go to a GP.
He said urgently. I do remember that part, yes.
Yeah. So what Mark did is he came home and went, oh, my blood pressure was a little bit high. And so I brushed it off thinking, it must not have been that high, because surely if it was that high, the chiropractors would have surely done something, surely prompted him to go to the GP, but clearly not. So I went for my chiropractor appointment. I think it was 3 weeks later. And she was like, your husband's blood pressure is really high. And he's such a young man. And I was like, oh, really? He didn't mention it, but he didn't say the figures. And then she was like, okay. And she was like, it's really, really high. And I was like, what is it? And then she was like, oh, it was, I think it was like 193 over 120, something like that, she had said. And I was like, oh, okay, guys, if you're in health, or if you just know about blood pressure, it's supposed to be 120 over 80. His is 193 over 120. Guys, that is stroke or heart attack level.
Apparently so.
That is exceptionally dangerous. And that's why they call it the silent killer. Because some people, like Mark, didn't have any symptoms. He didn't have any symptoms at all. So yeah, that's what was going on with Mark. And so when I got home, I was like, oh my goodness. I was a bit upset because I was like, I asked the chiropractor, so what did his chiropractor tell him to do? She said, well, he told him to go to the GP. And I said, oh, really?
I'm going to ask Mark.
Okay, Mark. On.
I mean, to be fair, it was a busy weekend, a very long weekend, 3 weekends. Oh no, anyway, that's not the point. So, yeah.
So my mum had the blood pressure machine. I said, Mark, could you please stop by, because my mum was at our house. Can you stop by Mum's house and just pick up the blood pressure machine, please, on your way home from work? He said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. He didn't realize we're getting it for him.
I honestly thought it was for her.
So you just brought it home. Oh, do you mind taking a seat, love? Let me check your blood pressure, please. Mark's blood pressure was 195 over 1. Yeah, 195 over 125.
You remember the numbers?
I remember the numbers because I could, you could have died. Like, it was actually serious. Like, I know we're joking about it, but it was serious. And I was really mad. I was just like, Mark, this is really serious. They haven't come down from the 3 weeks ago. They're pretty much the same readings. Why haven't you gone to the doctor? And you still were sat there like nothing was happening. I was like,
and the lesson for me,
guys, if you have any questions, just pop them into the comments box, or if you have our number, you can also text us.
I guess let's
about why Mark didn't go to the doctor. Maybe that's a question. Why?
I think, as with other times, I just thought I could just ride the wave, and then, over a period of time, just kind of get on top of it. And honestly, that was my thinking. So just try and calm things down, because there were things that were happening, in the wider circle of our lives, that were adding to the pressure. And so I thought, if we address those things, then hopefully and surely this is going to be fine. So we were trying to address some of those other areas, and it was only after we'd done that and it still sort of persisted, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty serious."
Yeah.
And this requires a lot more attention than I had given it before. And I think it was interesting, which is why I'm
That
talking
day
about the lesson.
you had to go to the A&E because we have two doctor friends that are in church, and I spoke to both of them, and they were like, "I'm really sorry, Hannah, your husband has got to go to the hospital now, like now."
Yeah.
So he went, and thankfully we were treated quite quickly because of our doctor friends, which we are so grateful for. And they put him on medication straight away. So talk to me about the process, because I think you found it really tricky going from I don't take medication, I just pray and everything goes away, to now you have to take this medication. And what are you currently, like, what's that like?
So I've always been about balance. So it's not because, as I said, it's not because I'm one for this kind of I was thinking of people who subscribe to, oh, don't take medication. I'm not one of those people. The only reason I didn't do it was just because I just felt my body could do it naturally. I think somewhere deep down within me, I believe in that whole natural herbal, earth type stuff. I don't know, I might have watched a program about something, and maybe that's what kind of incepted that idea into me. And so, I've always been about that. And so this whole journey has been about actually, let's stay in the middle of the road. And I think that
came after, though, because this is like August, you're finding this stuff out. Then you get the medication. He took the medication for about 2 weeks. Then I found the medication wasn't finished, like the course of medication. Then I got mad because I was just like, you are messing around with your life right now. And the thing is, guys, like, if he drops dead, like, I'm on my own. And I was starting to think, like, guys, we're not playing around with a little bit of, blood pressure, which is just like at a manageable level, but it's high, but we're going to bring it down. And I was just like, we've just had a baby. What's going on? I felt like you weren't taking responsibility for your physical health in regards to the fact that you have responsibilities and you need to look after yourself in order to look after us.
I think that journey is very interesting because, okay, so if it was just Mark and there was nobody else involved, I would have never ever looked at that machine. I'd have never ever bothered to follow through with, going to the doctors and all that stuff. I would have just done what I've always done in the past, which was, I have these sporadic moments where I just wake up, go for a run for like 3 miles, wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, go for a really long cycle, wake up, or come back from work and go play basketball for the next 4 hours. And so I know in terms of physical health and doing what I can do physically in terms of sport and things like that, I'll be able to develop some kind of a regime that would help me overcome that. And I think the other side of it is spiritually, I tend to want to give God enough room to work. And I think this is really difficult because now there's Bethel and she works in a completely different timescale to me. So I will just lean back and allow my faith to guide me. And my faith will say to me, okay, just take it easy, just relax. Yes, you found out, and this is quite alarming, but your faith is in God. That's just me. Your faith is in God. And so what does God say about the situation? And so when I go to God in prayer, I'm like, Lord, I don't understand this because I'm your child and I've served you faithfully. And then all of a sudden there's a situation which I don't understand. And yes, it does look like the other situations that you've helped me overcome in the past. So I'm not worried. But what are you saying about the situation? How do I approach it in a way that will help balance Bethel and also help me be at peace with myself in terms of the process? And again, that takes time because it's not every time that you speak to God, it will reply straight away. Sometimes it could take 2 months, 3 months, it could take 4 years. But I guess for me, the consistency within myself is about, I go to God, I pray, I present it to God, and I was open enough to actually say, Lord, please lead me in the way that you'd want me to go. If it is down the medication route, and I want to be open to it. You know, I am aware that there is family involved and there's everybody else, and not everybody responds to situation and reacts to situation the way that I do. So to allow myself to, okay, fine. How do I, with all this other information and everything else that I know now about this situation, which I wasn't aware of, how do I deal with that? And I allowed myself enough room to actually get to a place where I was like, okay, this is who I am and this is what I believe about the situation now and how I can, in terms of how I can actually approach it. And am I going to the how we actually address it? Okay.
It's really interesting to hear this side of it because in my mind, I just thought you're just being stubborn and you're not taking medication. Because obviously we did pray about it and everything like that. That's obviously the first thing we did. But then like, it's really interesting hearing you say this because like when I was pregnant and I had gestational diabetes and I had to take insulin, you were very like, take the insulin. You weren't like,
I think that's because I could see that.
You were just like, take the insulin. Like, why are you even stressing about it? You just need it. That's what your body needs. Take it. It's not forever. It's just for now. So what's the harm?
And can we put a bit of context in that? Bethel was a pill popper before. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, those, but no, yeah, she was up for anything. Oh, my nail hurts. Okay. I don't know. I feel a funny thing in my hair. What else? I think I'm hungry.
No, actually, no. That's just not. No, that's just
no. Of course, I'm over exaggerated. But I think the reality is, especially with that insulin situation, Bethel's natural tendency is towards medication, and there's nothing wrong with that. So why worry your mind? Because you're going through so much turmoil and in a conflict of, oh no, should I take it? Should I not? When it's like, actually, no, you know where you stand. You want to take it, so just take it and move on.
It's not that I punch medication.
No. I hear you.
It's not that. It's just like I'm not going to spend time. This is just my view, people. Everyone has a different view. I'm not going to spend time if I've got a headache. I'm not going to spend time like this headache needs to, praying about a headache. Like sometimes, like I'll pray and like, oh, this headache just needs to go away. Drink water, whatever. But sometimes I'm just like, take the paracetamol and just. I think Brother Gwynno said like some demons are so cheap they just go away with paracetamol. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, just take the medicines and be done.
Absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually fine.
But yeah, I feel like then we had a doctor come and live with us, right?
No, so this was a fascinating thing.
So you took the medication, you stopped.
Wait, before that.
The doctor came.
Yeah, before that. So the doctor coming, that in itself for me was an answered prayer. Because I had been asking, this was my one, so we had a prayer line thing at church, and one of my requests was, Lord, please guide me, because prior to that, my mindset was, I believe in the natural approach to things. I don't have to take any medication to get better. I know my body can do it with it on its own if I just do the right things, for example, eat well and stuff like that.
But I think the situation at the moment isn't allowing, well, especially at that time, about 4 months ago, wasn't allowing you to do the things you needed to. It wasn't a peaceful situation. It was it was a highly stressed environment.
But that's why the prayer was, and this was my prayer, Lord, please teach me how I can actually approach this in the right way. And lo and behold, it was only a month later or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. A month later, we had a random request to host a doctor from Colombia who happens to be a I always forget this.
Neuromolecular scientist.
The president
he's got his own clinic.
Own clinic
Called Health and Wellbeing with health and balance with love, something like that.
Something like that.
Health and well-being, balance with love, something like that. And he talks about the balance between medication and faith healing.
And they've had remarkable results where people have come over there with cancer, with blood pressure, with all sorts of different, diseases of all sorts, and they've gone, back healed.
But what I absolutely loved about him coming to live with us was he talked a lot about balance. And he's like, some people have died, or some people don't take medication because they're just like, oh no, God is the healer. Yes, we know God is the healer, number one. That is it. God is the healer. But God can heal in many different ways. He can heal through love. He can heal through medication. He can heal through divine healing. He can heal through miracles. There's so many different forms of healing. So for you to be just like, I'm not taking medication, there's only this, blah, 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 blah. You need to be balanced in your life. And that's kind of what he was teaching us when he was here, didn't he? And he was saying another thing is like, you ask God for health, but you don't do anything to look after the body that he gave you. So a lot of people are very lazy about their bodies. They don't exercise. They don't drink enough water. They don't drink water the right way. They don't eat well. They don't sleep well. They don't even speak well or think well. So how are you going to be well? That was like that. I feel like the week he came here was like an epiphany moment for both of us, really. I think you more in your physical well-being, because before you'd always been in the mental health.
Yeah, mental, spiritual, that
You're
sort
always
of thing.
good about that.
I've got a really good balance of that. I think even in terms of physical health, not in terms of.
But you're drinking water.
The drinking water, yeah, that was yeah. So.
The drinking.
But why don't you just break down exactly what he said? Just give him a bit of a snippet so everybody gets context to it.
Okay. Give me a second to find the notes because I want to get it right. So he said he had 5 principles. Let me find them, guys.
So I think one of the things he talked about, some very basic things. There we go. You've got that. Okay, go
I wrote them down. It's just so profound. So number 1, the first principle is God is the healer. So in whatever situation you're going through, God is the healer. Number 2, the person must have a strong desire to want to be healed. So he was saying it's all good saying, oh, I want to be better, I want to be better. But you need to have the strong desire to want to be healed, right? The third one is that make a decision. The person has to make a decision in the heart to change their lifestyle. So you're saying it's no good saying, oh, I really want to lose weight, but you're eating thousands of chocolates. We'll talk about the chocolate in a minute.
So I'm chuckling. I'm like, stop it.
So there's no point in saying that, right? Yeah. So he's saying you actually have to make a decision to change your lifestyle, which Mark, you're doing as well in terms of the blood pressure. Lifestyle changes are happening big time there. Mark is so good with water now, he's even better than me. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And number 4 was the person must have a determination to go all the way through the process, as there is a price to pay for good health.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was saying sometimes, like when you do these new routines to your body, you might get some kickback. Your body might go, whoa, what is this all about? Like, we don't know this. And then you might get some withdrawal symptoms, especially when you stop eating chocolate. We will talk about chocolate. Okay. So he was saying you've got to be able to go through it, like through the pain, because sometimes healing can be painful as well. It's not just like an easy, oh, I'm getting better, yay. Sometimes it's really hard. So if you're losing weight, for example, you might be really struggling, waking up to do the exercises, drinking the water, eating well, refusing the chocolate or whatever it is. But you've got to be willing to go through it.
All people or family who are constantly checking in with you to say, so where we at? Has the healing taken place now?
Yes, exactly. And then the last principle was the person must have discipline. So the discipline is to do whatever it is that is needed, however it is needed, whenever it is needed, without excuses. That was so powerful.
I think that's a
quote.
Whatever
it is that is needed.
I think it's a quote either from John Maxwell.
Oh, is it?
Or I want to say Jim Rohn, but I could be wrong. I think it's a quote from one of those.
that was powerful. That struck me because it was just like, actually, oh, I'm not going to go for a walk today because it's raining. My leg is just a little bit sore, so I'm thinking I'm going to stay in. Or I didn't really get a good night's sleep last night, so I think, no, without excuses. And so, yeah, it was like really, really powerful. And just some of the simple principles which you could apply, really. It's just everyday stuff. It was like drinking water.
Well, I think it starts off to kind of go in a linear process.
Yeah.
Your sleep, first of all, is critical.
Paramount.
Right, it's paramount. Get your sleep. And when you wake up, you want to make sure you drink chia seeds. I know most people like drink, because you put them in water overnight and then drink them first thing in the morning. And throughout the day, you want to drink garlic or take garlic capsules with your water. And for the water intake, how much do you say? You said your weight divided by?
Yeah, your weight divided by 7. So you need to take your weight divided by 7. That's going to give you the amount of 250 ml glasses of water that you need to drink. By the way, guys, we are not doctors. Hence why the stuff that we're telling you about is stuff you can buy in the supermarket, right? We're not going to go tell you to take stuff that is not natural.
No.
But always check with your GP and all that kind of stuff. We're not doctors,
And
we're just telling you what we're doing at the moment. And if it's really helping us, we're seeing a lot of benefits.
And in all fairness, you did say about the garlic capsules, that's because garlic actually cleanses.
Yeah, it does antioxidants.
Antioxidants and cleanses your blood. And the chia seeds, apparently they also.
They do the same thing.
Yeah.
So drinking the water, Mark's drinking his water. It's too late to drink water right now, huh?
It is.
You're supposed to drink water
today.
between 5 and
And
5
p.m.
So 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. The reason you need to do that between those hours is if you drink later than 5 p.m., the water is going to wake you up in the middle of the night. If you're ever wondering why you keep waking up and going to the toilet in the middle of the night, it's because you're drinking way too much after 5.
And that will affect your REM sleep.
Yeah, and that will affect your sleep. So the
Too much learning does
make you mad. Water and sleep are connected, guys. So if you are drinking too much before you go to bed, unfortunately, you are not going to get into a deep sleep. You're likely to wake up a couple of times in the night. And that was me. I used to wake up like every 2 hours in the night, like at least 5 times in the night.
I thought you just lived in the toilet. Yeah.
And I was blaming it on having a baby. Well, kind of, because I kept drinking throughout the night because I was breastfeeding throughout the night. So that was also like another thing. And then we sleep trained Rhea, but I kept drinking throughout the night, even though she's sleep trained now.
Do you know what you just reminded me? Remember the times I'd wake up 3:35 in the morning, you just see
Eating. No, that was when I was pregnant.
Of course, that's what I'm talking about.
No, actually, after I sleep trained Rhea, I stopped drinking through the night.
Yes.
Because that's when the doctor came, just when we sleep trained. But yeah, so when you do the calculation, you do your weight divided by 7, right? Your weight in kgs, right? For those American people who might be watching, your weight in kilograms, right? Divided by 7, that gives you the amount of 250 ml glasses. I'll write it in the description as well. And then if you want to know how many liters that is, then you just times 250, whatever number you get, times 250. And that will give you how many liters you need to drink per day. And you need to drink that per day. Also, the way to drink water, he was telling us.
That was a revelation.
Honestly, another revelation. So he's like, people just down glasses of water. They
go, oh my gosh, it's halfway through the day and I haven't actually drank my volume of water.
Gulp it all the way down. And he was like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to take sips of water, wash it around your mouth so that you can get some of the saliva, which has enzymes and all this good. What did he say?
See, it's got
anti-cancer cells in your saliva, and then swallow it. Okay, we're not talking about gargling, guys. We just rinse your mouth and swallow, right? And he was saying that when you do that, you're also hydrating yourself better and all those are different things rather than just gulping the water. So
knowledge was power.
It actually makes a huge difference when you do it. It actually makes a huge difference.
It does.
So that, and then the last thing he was saying was most people have a magnesium deficiency. So we take magnesium citrate now at night, half a teaspoon. So what he says is that you need to start with half a teaspoon and then go to 1 teaspoon, 1.5, 2, basically until you get diarrhea. Sorry, guys, too much information. But some people might get diarrhea on 1 teaspoon. So then you stick at half a teaspoon, right? And yeah, you just basically keep going until you get diarrhea the next day. When you get diarrhea, then you go back half a teaspoon. Just keep adding half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon until you get diarrhea. Then you go back, and then you know that that's your regular dosage. My regular dosage at the moment is like a quarter teaspoon. It's like my stomach is really sensitive. But what I did notice with the magnesium, and you take that at 6 o'clock at night with a tiny bit of water, the powder.
It helps your sleep.
Again, I'll put the link in the bio. It helps your sleep. Oh my gosh, guys.
It does.
When I started stopping the water, taking the magnesium before bed at 6 o'clock, like the first 2 nights I did that, I slept through the entire night.
The first time ever.
I have not slept through the night since Mike was born, or before that, since I was pregnant.
That's about 5 years. Well, we're going on to 6
years.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't, because I've gone to the toilet, too many thoughts, this, that, and the other. But guys, magnesium works. Magnesium works, people. So, right. That's that. So also, the doctor helped me with my my jacket situation. So before the doctor came here, right? Obviously, I was postnatal. I'm still postnatal. Get in there though. Get in there, because I'm getting close to the 1 year postnatal, which is great. Where it's 9 months now. But
we're seeing some really good results in all directions, from mentally, physically.
Seriously. I got myself into this thing. So because I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant, right? And I could not touch sugar. I mean, I could not touch it. My levels would just spike. Even though I was on insulin, I couldn't even eat a potato. I couldn't eat sweet potato. I couldn't eat, like, literally nothing that remotely had sugar in it. So I was eating super clean when I was pregnant with Freya, right? And then afterwards, I felt like I'd been in prison a little bit. And I was just like, give me that shit. But then I kind of went crazy with the sugar. I'm not gonna lie.
You were like, deliver us to the promise.
No, I was binging on the sugar. I was literally binging on the chocolate. So I was binging on chocolate.
Do you know what I pictured in my head?
What?
A little hamster with like it's like a whole mouthful of chocolate. Because that's exactly what you were doing.
I was binging, honestly. I would go to the shop and buy like a whole bag of Kit Kats and just eat them. Like I would eat them in one day. Like they'd be gone. Like seriously, I would hide chocolates upstairs in my cupboard, chocolates in my drawer, chocolate everywhere. And it was just, honestly, it was not good. It was
honestly, if you went into our car, it looked like a little corner shop. So much chocolate there was.
Yeah, no, honestly. Oh, trust me, it wasn't good. So anyway.
And even Michael used to say, we go to the shop, Mum. He used to love going to the shop with Mum because,
Mum would buy me chocolate. Oh, gosh. Anyway, so I said to the doctor, I was like, so what can you recommend for me? Because I feel overwhelmed. Like I used to basically get these really high highs. I said it in the last video, and these super lows. And what I didn't realize is that I was continuously spiking my blood sugar with, I should have known this, right? Because I just had gestational diabetes. So I should have known the impact of chocolate on my body, but I wasn't thinking.
Well, you didn't know what you didn't know until you knew what you didn't know.
Honestly. So what he says is that eating a little bit of chocolate, and by a little bit of chocolate, we're talking about 2 slabs, like 2 little small slabs, or 2 single chocolate little chocolates like that.
Blocks.
Is fine. Because that gives you some endorphins, and that's nice. If you're eating whole chocolate bars, that is just not good, because you're going to spike your sugars, and the risk to your brain is that you can actually give yourself depression, right? You can give yourself depression by eating too much sugar, because you're constantly spiking your brain.
And it was like,
I know, right?
How did you know to actually discern her?
He's like, I've been watching you for 5 days.
That was pretty remarkable when he said that.
He said, I've been watching you.
And you do like your chocolate.
No, he didn't say that.
Oh,
he said, I've been watching you.
Else. Yes,
and you can go from moments of complete calm to complete anguish in seconds. And he was like, that is chocolate. That is exactly what too much sugar does. You literally do not have control, because you're just spiking. You're like, your blood sugar is not at a nice constant state, and so that is playing on your brain. So yeah, I learned my lesson. So he said, don't eat chocolate like the world is ending. You want to find a balance. Yes, you can eat chocolate, but you need to find a balance. So start learning how to eat small amounts of chocolate. And that's what I've been trying to do.
I'm wondering what that was like for you in terms of hearing that from him as opposed to hearing from me, because I'd obviously tried a few times to say, Bethel, I do think your chocolate consumption is just slightly above average.
Well, I think because when you were saying it, I thought you were saying it in relation to weight. I wasn't thinking in relation to like my mind and my mental well-being. So that's why I was like,
Right.
Yeah. That's why I was just thinking like, he's talking about my weight, so I'm not really that bothered because I'll lose weight. I wasn't ready to lose weight anyway because I'm like, baby's still breastfeeding. Let me just crack on and munch. But when he said it was in relation to my brain and in relation to my mental health. So guys, we've moved on to mental health now.
You value your brain more, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because at the time, as I was saying to the doctor, like I was feeling like I was losing it all the time. It's like, why do I feel like these extreme feelings of depression and then high and then it's like I'm not on top of myself, like what's going on? And I thought it was hormones. Yeah, I thought it was hormones. I was like, is it my hormones? Is this a postnatal depression? What am I going through? Because this is too much. He's like, well, postnatally, yes, there's all these postnatal hormones flying around, but what's making it worse is the fact that you're eating chocolate and you're not drinking water and I wasn't doing anything, guys. I did nothing. So
lack of sleep.
Yes, lack of sleep. Oh, it was the whole disaster. Perfect recipe for mental health disaster, honestly. And I was in it, I was literally in it. And I was so petrified that I was just like, that's it, that's me gone. But yeah,
I think in terms of the scale, it probably weighs the same as what I was going through.
Yeah, my mental well-being and then your physical well-being. Yeah, 100%.
Or worse, probably actually.
For me or for you.
You're about to lose your nut.
Yeah, but you're about to lose your body, your whole body. You're just gonna.
Not really. They could always be restored.
So yeah, I think in terms of like mental health, for me, that was a huge pivotal moment. And since he's left, I've been progressively getting better and better and better. Because what I didn't want to do was completely stop eating chocolate, because I can do that. I have willpower to go cold turkey, but then the thing is, I can just go right back to it. Now,
a few months later. Exactly.
Now I'm like, because I slowly decreased my amounts, I know when I've had too much, like I actually get the sick feeling.
I think what's interesting, every now and then I say to Beth, oh, sorry, have you had chocolate? So I think I could see some symptoms of like
rage. That was the other thing. I used to get these rage spouts, like rage, anger. And oh my gosh, honestly, like the other day, I was just like irrationally upset with Mark. What did you even do?
I smiled at you.
It was something.
Probably smiled and said hello.
Oh, he didn't go. Okay, listen, in the middle of the night, we sleep trained our baby, which we will talk about as well, because I know some people need help with sleep training.
A lot of
right.
people need help with that.
Yeah, we sleep train our baby, and we decided, because I was breastfeeding before, I won't go in the middle of the night because we don't want to confuse her. So he'll go in because she knows she's not going to get breastfed by dad. So then that particular night, he didn't. I don't know whether you were still half asleep or whatever. But I was like, are you going in there? No, you're not going in. What's going on? And then she was crying, and I was like, oh, she was stirring. I was like, let's go before she wakes up, quick. And then he didn't go, and then I got up in a rage. Did whatever I needed to do, put her back to sleep, and then I got upset with him. But I was like irrationally upset with him. And then I thought, bing, 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 you've been eating chocolate, lovely. Because the irrational feeling, like I could have been a little bit mad with him, like mate, come on. But I was like the Hulk.
I mean, I couldn't see the green because it was dark.
So yeah, and it was nice to be able to have that reflective space and go, oh no, I know this feeling. This is the feeling I used to get every day when I was eating loads of chocolate. And today I ate a lot of chocolate because I went out with a friend, and then on the way home I was tired, so I went and bought ice cream so I could stay awake on the drive home. I was driving 1.5 hours and I was tired. So I was like, get some chocolate, get some ice cream, just wake up. Yeah, anywho. What are we saying, guys? We're saying that we've been on a physical health journey, we've been on a mental health journey, and even spiritually, it's all linked, because it's like well-being. All of these things are questioning. As you're going through these things, you're questioning your faith, you're questioning like, okay, so right, what do I believe to be true? okay, this is what the scriptures say about healing. This is what also the doctors are saying to me. So what am I going to be doing? That's the journey you kind of.
And I think for me, my journey has been about, I guess I'll call it, I was going to say agile, but that's not a really good one to explain this. I'd say recentering,
finding balance.
Finding balance. Thank you. That's a good word, actually. Finding balance. Because as the times change and as the situations change, we have to somehow, just like the book, you know, Who Moved My Cheese? We've got to change with the times.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that remains constant is our faith.
Yeah.
So for me and for Beth, our faith is constant. But how do we, in light of the way in which our lives and everything else is changing around us, continue to find our balance in order to navigate that space with a balanced well-being.
And guys, it's a journey, because with every new trial you then have to question, okay, so what do I do in this situation? What do I do in this situation? And I guess what we're saying to you is, like, if you're going through something physical, mental, spiritual right now, just have a chance. Marco was just saying earlier about just having the space to pray about it, and then, you know, seek the Lord's mind and heart about your situation. And God might just send you a doctor.
A personal doctor.
An actual doctor to come to your house, all the way from Colombia. Why he ended up in our house, who knows?
Well, I know, because I needed him. Because
God sent him for us. And it has really, really helped us and really transformed our lives.
And I think, if anything, what I think to always remember, as Beth was talking about giving yourself space, that is so critical, especially in the age that we live in, where we don't really have enough space and time to just process our thoughts. So allowing yourself quiet time, just to recenter, hear where you are, what God's telling you in the moment, and then finding your way of actually, okay, this is what I'm going to do, go do. And I think the other thing is, make sure if you've got people around you who you trust, talk to them. You know, some people like to talk to pastors, some people like to talk to your family, friends.
Don't keep it secret, guys.
No.
If you're feeling a certain way, talk to them.
Yeah. If you've had too much chocolate, let someone know.
You're struggling with chocolate and you need something to talk to.
So you don't have to actually deal with it.
You can talk to me. I just hear this paper. Guys, you've got our personal number. You know, we're always willing to have a chit chat. Let us know if this has helped you, if there's anything you want to know more about. Next week, we are talking about the job situation, guys, and the trial that lasted a year. 1 whole year of a situation, guys. It was long, it was intense, it was painful. So glad we made it.
Yeah. The chords are pretty complicated for that.
Okay.
But I do know it.
It's okay, sing whatever you want to sing.
I was going to sing that nursery rhyme, the one that says...
Imagine you finish on such a serious note and then it's like, I'm going to sing a nursery rhyme. Go for it, Mark.
Well, that's because Jesus said we ought to be like children.
What song would you sing?
The one that says bye-bye. How does it go?
Bye-bye, everyone.
See, there you go.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye, everyone. It's time to say bye-bye.
See, that was amazing. I like that.
Okay, we love you guys. Have a great night. Thank you for those people who tuned in with us live in the moment. And thank you in advance to those people who tune in with us later on. We've had really good, actually, reception and a lot of people watched the video. So we're really thankful for that.
And if you've got any questions, again, just reach out to us. We're more than willing to actually consider putting that as part of it.
We want to hear what you want us to talk about.
As we tell you these stories of our lives. Anyway, have a great evening. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye, everyone. It's time to say bye-bye.